I am super, super excited to be part of Success Coach. So thank you to Harpal for letting me be a part of this journey. My name is Sammy Guerrero. I am a senior at Harvard in my second semester. So I'm graduating this upcoming May, which feels crazy because the last 4 years have just flown by. After Harvard, I'm going to be taking the summer to prepare to go to Georgetown Law School next year. So just a bit about me. I grew up right outside of Boston in a small suburb called Hingham. An interesting fact about Hingham was that a lot of the naval warships that were used by the United States in World War II started their building journey in Hingham, which I think is really cool part of my town. But I grew up in Hingham, and I kind of had this interesting journey in high school where I went to a public school for 2 years, and then I went to a private school. So I've seen both ends of this, right? I've seen both what it's like to be part of a public school, a really big school, and then also to be part of a really small, intimate community. It was highly academic. It's a very rigorous boarding school. I always felt a lot of pressure to perform in high school, a lot of pressure. And I felt pressure to go in a particular direction. I felt that there was a lot of pressure on me by my parents to go explore a career in the sciences. And I really did like science. I still love science. And so I applied to Harvard, was admitted early action, which Harvard does not have a binding early decision process, but they do have a single choice early action process. So I was admitted there, and I matriculated the following year. I graduated high academic distinction as a captain of a sport. I was a varsity athlete. I was a part of our Model UN team, our debate team. I loved high school, and I was really involved myself in my high school. And then coming to Harvard, I've been a peer counselor on campus. So I serve as a non-judgmental, non-directed peer counselor for anyone who chooses to come. It's part of Room 13, which is one of the many peer counseling groups on campus. I am also the Director General for Harvard Model United Nations, which is the oldest and largest Model United Nations conference in the world. So I have extensive experience both in judging Model United Nations conferences, but also putting them together on the logistics side as well. And while I was in college, I've been pre-med, and I've completed a lot of the pre-med requirements. So chemistry, physics, biology, you name it, I've done it. But I also took a liking to policy analysis and policy analysis research. So while I began at school, during my sophomore year, I decided to take an American foreign policy course, and that really piqued my interest in this field that I really hadn't explored before. And I sort of began to realize, wow, I really love this. I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about policy work. I go to bed and I'm still thinking about policy work. I really just have a huge drive and passion for this field. And that got me thinking about, maybe reevaluating what I wanted to do after college. And I spoke with a lot of different professionals, both in the medical fields, in law and policy work, in academia, to try to help me figure out what this is like and what these fields were like. And I really figured out that law, particularly a focus on national security law, how law, national security, and policy all fit together, that's what I wanted to pursue. And in that process, Georgetown really stood out as the school that I really wanted to matriculate to. I applied early decision to Georgetown, so it was a binding process. I was admitted in January, and so that's where I plan to attend next year. So I'm really excited about that. What I really love about Success Coach is that a lot of these realizations that I had in college are what we're trying to get people to think about and the students to think about earlier on, exploring the different fields, doing the different summer programs. Those things, at least to me, were not things that I was sort of pushed to do. And I really like how Success Coach is fostering students to really think critically about what they want to do and getting them one step ahead of their peers at the college level. And I'm really excited to be a part of that. So if there's anything I can add, Harpal, please let me know. But
No, I think
I'm
you talked
ecstatic.
about your background from wanting to do pre-med initially, now going into pre-law, and now going to Georgetown. Your background is biomedical engineering in general, where you did a lot of your work. Many of my students struggle between pre-med and not knowing they can go into bioinformatics, computational biology. Those are some areas I think if you can help some of them. The work around Model UN that you've done, that could be a phenomenal help because many of my students want to do that, just don't have enough knowledge of that area. So bring that perspective to the team, and in general, very excited, Sammy, to have you on board. So thank you. I'm looking forward to getting the students onboarded with you.